Welcome back, everybody, to Real Sports. I, of course, am your host, Colin Morris. Joining me today on the desk, it is Buck, the man himself, Buck Chuck, Brandon Buckingham. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty well. Very excited. The week 1 of the NFL season is underway. Boy, was there some shit that went down on.
You're the only co-host on this show that is 1-0 in real life football. So
that is true.
Congratulations on that.
Yes, I'm very excited. I was so pumped watching that game.
Not unfortunately. I mean, making money is never unfortunate. I was working during the 1 o'clock spread, got home around 3:30, caught the last 10 minutes of most of the first 1 p.m. games. Kyler was amazing. All I saw were the highlights.
Please tell me you saw the run where he ran like 45 yards.
Where he bloop, 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 bloop,
oh, by the way,
and then just throws like the most beautiful.
I swear, the people that run the NFL YouTube are morons. That wasn't in their top 15 plays of the week.
What?
They had the touchdown to Hopkins in the back of the end zone, which was a phenomenal play. And then they had the second touchdown to Kirk on the back shoulder. But they don't have the play where he's running for his life. Like, if you actually counted from when he dropped back, went to the right, went to the left, up, back, 45 yards. He ran 45 yards in that play.
I love those tracking plays where they, like, know how far you went.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only thing I can think of is why they didn't consider it a top 15 play of the week is the actual end result was only like a 15-yard pass. And
right.
It wasn't like,
yeah. Or so I'm like, when it shows up on their box score, it's like 15-yard pass from Kyler.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like they don't actually watch these games. They just say, all right, let's pull all the touchdowns.
Shout out to all the social media people out there, though. I'm one of you. I know that life's a bitch.
Yeah, because a lot of fans will just at the team, and I'm like, there's people behind these accounts. Some people are very clever in their responses to certain fans when they just go ape shit on them for no reason. You're like, oh my gosh, it's so bad.
It's so bad. But some stuff that's going well. We're gonna take a hold on the NFL, and we're gonna move over to the MLB for a moment and take a look because the playoff race is in full effect. We're gonna start out with the National League. Braves,
Giants clinched.
Niners
are the first team to clinch.
They have clinched the wild card at minimum. Mm-hmm. They are currently 2.5 games ahead of the Dodgers. The Brewers, 14.5 games clear in first place in the NL Central over the Cardinals.
Which that magic number is like 3. So basically a combination of 3 Brewer wins and 3 Cardinals or Reds losses in the Brewers clinch.
So what I'm seeing right now I see the Giants, Dodgers, Brewers, and Braves are pretty much guaranteed into the playoffs. Aside from a Braves fall and a Phillies or Mets meteoric rise, the Braves will be taking the NL East, which leaves open that 5th spot in the wild card situation, which leaves Phillies, Mets, Cardinals, Reds, and Padres all fighting for that final wild card spot. Who do you think is going to take it?
I think it's the Reds. They've been playing their best baseball the last 6 weeks. A lot of people counted them out. Like, they made some deals at the trading deadline, and everyone's like, why? Like, you're like 6 games out of the wild card. They're tied right now. Like, everyone thought it would be the Padres. But their pitching right now is so terrible.
Yeah.
So that's what's holding them back. And also they got swept by the Dodgers this weekend, and it wasn't even close. Like, all 3 games were just blowouts. Like, it was ugly. So even if the Padres somehow make that wild card and they have to play either the Dodgers or the Giants, because that's what it's going to be. Either the Dodgers or the Giants is going to win the NL West, and whoever doesn't gets that first wild card, and they'll play I'm saying the Padres or Reds. I mean, the Cardinals are right there. They're only 2 games out, but I feel like the Reds have been playing their best baseball.
And then that moves us over to the American League as the Rays are 9 games clear with the best record in baseball of 90-55. I mean, that is some Giants have the best record, 94-50. Best record in the AL with 90-55. which leaves the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Red Sox all within a half a game of one another, and they would all be more than 10 games clear, or sorry, at least 7 games clear of the Braves in the NL East if things were situated differently. Then looking over at the Central, the White Sox, 12 games clear of the Indians. Eloy and the White Sox are having an unbelievable season. I know President Barack Obama is extremely happy about that. Big White Sox fan. Has been a long time since the White Sox have actually been able to walk into the barbershop and have something to say over the Cubs. Astros, 6.5 games over the Mariners and A's, which, I mean, unfortunately, the A's are one of the most incredibly entertaining teams in baseball. Always put on a great show. My girlfriend will fall asleep to the Braves all the time.
Nobody goes and watches their games when they're there.
It sucks. They're there
because they're
there. Well,
their venue is a little piece of shit.
It's in a baseball stadium or a football stadium, and it's hard to make it look like people are actually there because there are a good 20,000 people there at the game, but it's just hard when you're at a stadium built for 100,000.
And like the fans aren't even close to the field, so
it's hard. Yeah. It's hard. But that's going to be an interesting thing to watch as we go forward. National League, it's just wild. I think Giants and Dodgers just going to have some wild matchups going forward. That brings us to what I think is the biggest story in the world of sports.
Keyword world. He said world.
That is in the world. In the world. The whole world. This weekend was the Italian Grand Prix at the track at Monza, one of the most famous circuits in all the world. I myself have become obsessively obsessed. I'll say that with F1. I follow all the content. I watched the Drive to Survive show on Netflix and became super obsessed. And this season has been one for the history books. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton have been going at it wheel to wheel, resulting in this weekend in a crash that took both of them out of the race, the top 2 drivers in the entire world. Take a look at this, folks.
It's wheel to wheel. Hamilton and Verstappen. And this time Verstappen and Hamilton have crashed out.
The dude would have gotten his head taken off.
Came out, breaking into turn 1. I made sure I left the car's bit on the outside, and I was ahead going into the corner. And next thing you know, I guess Max went over the second curve or something like that. They obviously knew at that point he wasn't going to make the corner, and they drove into me. So, and next thing you know, he's on the top of me. So, definitely unfortunate. And we'll speak to the stewards after this.
Yeah, we'll speak to the stewards after this one. You fucking bet you'll speak to the stewards. This is some crazy stuff. So I'll try to find the real good video of it, but the actual occurrence of it is that Lewis Hamilton is coming out of the pits. And Max is still in the track. So Max is in the Red Bull car, which on this picture is the furthest back car. Lewis is in the car to his right, our screen left. Lewis coming out of the pits is taking it a little too tight. Max does not give him any room. Lewis gives him none. Take a look at that right there, sending Max off of the track, causing him to go up and over, which, okay. As Ricky Bobby said, yeah, I am in the air. This is not good.
I am in the air.
I am in the air. This is not good. Holy shit. $300,000 just drove over my fucking head. Insane stuff. And we're just all casually sitting there watching it this weekend. Just absolutely wild. I know you're not an F1 fan, but if you were sitting there for 2 hours and watching it and that happened, it has to be pretty entertaining, right?
Yeah, a guy's head almost got taken off.
And if it wasn't for the safety halo, it would have absolutely been just completely unfortunate. Yeah. But thankfully, everybody was okay. Lewis walked out okay. Max gets out of his car and just walks back to the pits. It was one of the most intense 5 minutes of television I've ever seen. He just gets out of the car, says, screw it, I'm going to walk back, and just walks. And there's just a camera on him the entire time. It was awesome. But that's my all gas, no brakes moment of the week for F1. Next race is in 2 weeks, so you won't have to hear me talk about it next week. Okay. Week 1 of the NFL season has come and gone. We are going to run through the scores from all the games, and then we are going to break down the standings in the Watt Fantasy League and break down the award winners from this week, courtesy of Sleeper, a non-sponsor of the show. The action got started on Thursday night as the Hard Knocks Cowboys themselves traveled down to Tampa Bay into a ring ceremony event and put up one hell of a fight, Buck. Was that not one of the most entertaining?
This was a fantastic game to
so
start
much
the season. Joseph.
We're all looking at each other like, have we not had football, or was that not really fun?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people thought Dak would be that good his first game back. Like, I think that's what a lot of people were like, oh, Dak is back. Cowboys lost Michael Gallup for, I think, like a month.
Yep.
So that's going to be hard for them, as that offense really gels well with all three. CeeDee Lamb had some drops.
If he didn't have the drops, he would have had over 200 yards.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Dak threw the one pick, and that was on CeeDee Lamb because that ball hit his hands. The ball hits your hands, you got to catch it.
Oh, absolutely. That's the rule. Put it in the breadbasket. But Tom Brady comes out with the win, 31-29. Just an unbelievable game. You can say Greg Zuerlein would have clinched the game. 2 missed field goals, 1 extra point, 7 points. You get the ball back with 4.5 left. You then have to go for it. You have to go score instead of peeling back the clock a little bit. Thoughts on that?
Greg Zuerlein is not Greg the Leg anymore.
Yeah, Greg the Broken Leg. It looks like.
Yeah, Greg the Broken Leg, and
more like Greg the Egg from Succession.
It's being a kicker in the NFL might be the hardest job in all sports.
Oh yeah, hey, come chill for an hour and a half and then go do your job.
Yeah,
no pressure.
Yeah, I mean the kicker for the no, we'll get to that later because that's your team. I don't want to open up that one. But no, great. I think there was a story that came out that the Cowboys are trying out some kickers, which is odd because Greg Zuerlein was like the highest. When he was with the Rams, he was without a doubt the best kicker in the NFL. And that was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So it shows how far
it was undoubt. Yeah.
Shows how quickly players can fall, especially kickers if they miss a kick or two.
Well, that started our season off with a bang, and now let's roll through some of these 1 o'clock games that we had. The Texans matched their interception total through all of 2020 in one game, picking off first pick Trevor Lawrence 3 times in a 37-21 route. Don't have too much to say about that. Good.
By the way, do you think you would ever have heard the first place Houston Texans?
Yes, but not with the quarterback that they currently have. On to Washington, where the football team does not come out with the win. It was a 2016 loss to the non-San Diego Chargers. And it was Staley is the first Chargers head coach with a win since Norv Turner in 2007. On to
Washington football team lost Ryan Fitzpatrick for a while. And
the interesting thing that stuck out to me was how much we didn't hear about him this offseason and how much we heard about Heineke.
And now it's his job.
So
plays on Thursday, by the way.
Plays on Thursday against the Giants. We did find out that we are going to get an announcement at halftime regarding the future of the Hard Knocks franchise. Yeah. Don't cancel it, please. I'll be really sad. I would be really sad.
Yeah, and then
I don't think Adam Schefter would have tweeted like an anticipatory tweet. I think he would have just broken the ice.
That was not water, Jeremy. That was not water. That was a sewage pipe. That was sewage. That was not water that burst.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I was like,
it's not water. It's not water. It's sewage.
Well, speaking of sewage, onto the Indianapolis Colts, facing off against the Seattle Seahawks, where they lose 28-16. Seattle is 12-1 in their last 13 games, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. That is not an anomaly. That is a trend. Take it to the casino, folks. That is some unbelievable statistics. Russell Wilson looking fantastic. DK Metcalf, no catches in the first half, and then coming out in the second half with a nice little bounce around, a little touchdown, ending up into 28-16. Jets and Panthers. What a football game that was. That was actually entertaining. Christian McCaffrey back on the football field. Great to see. Sam Darnold with the slight revenge game, had a rushing touchdown, passing touchdown, spread it around a little bit. McCaffrey, 5th career game, 80-plus rushing yards, 80-plus.
It's why he was the number 1 pick in fantasy. That reason alone, the fact that he could have games like this where he goes 80 and 80.
He barely tried.
He doesn't have to try too hard.
On to arguably the most entertaining game of the 1 o'clock session. The Bengals coming out 27-24 above the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings had a big lead. Bengals came back and took that with McPherson clinching the game on a 35.
And a lot of people say because that fumble by Dalvin Cook, if you watch, his butt looks either on the ground or nearly about to hit the ground.
It looks highly questionable to me as a wise elephant said.
Jamar Chase balled out. Like
he did ball out. All the rookies
everyone was worried because he had the yips in training camp. Like he could not catch a ball at practice.
People used to say that about Tebow too. Like he was a practice yipper. He couldn't do it, and then he shows up in games, and it's just
he got 5 for I think 107 and 1 touch. I think he had 1 touchdown. So,
well, sir, that brings us to those Arizona Cardinals traveling to Nashville, Tennessee to take.
Well, no one gave him a chance. Like everyone was picking Tennessee.
Everyone picked Tennessee
because of the whole Malcolm Butler and now who are the Cardinals starting DBs. Thought Tannehill was going to torch them there with AJ Brown and Julio Jones. They didn't talk to Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones was like, no. Chandler Jones has 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, goes over 100 career sacks. He is definitely so he wants an extension. Cardinals were like, no. So I think he's going to prove the point that they should go ahead and give him that extension. I mean, a lot of people were saying, maybe they should trade him now while his stock is high. They're not going to trade him. If they don't sign him to an extension, they will franchise tag him. He's staying in Arizona. But it was great. JJ Watt played pretty well, had a couple of tackles for loss. No, it was very exciting to watch Kyler balled out. Threw almost 300 yards.
4 touchdowns in the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. Fantastic to see for fantasy owners out there. The guy that really stole the show for me, though, who I expected to see more of last year as a rookie really showing himself, was Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, dude, there was 1 tackle where he just straight up went for Derrick Henry's legs. He just literally was like, all right.
He knows he can do it.
Yes, he's that talented. He's that fast, that strong.
I've been saying it for 2 years. He is the prototypical linebacker of the 22nd century, where he is able to be the guy who can make the decision of, hey, Lamar Jackson is running at me right now. Okay. There's a running back in front of me. There's a tight end behind me, or there's a tight end behind me and Lamar's in front of me. What's the right choice? Do I pursue Lamar or do I hold my coverage? And Isaiah Simmons is arguably the most physically gifted linebacker safety hybrid to make those decisions. And I think the fact that he is able to go against Kyler fucking Murray every day in practice is so slept on with this defense that is going to.
He got a pick, and with his pick, he literally knocks down Budda Baker. It was so great. They both go up for it. Simmons gets it, and Budda Baker falls down. I don't know if you saw this clip, but Buda Baker rushes the quarterback, and he forces their starting left tackle to fall on his back by just pushing him. Like it was like I think it's Taylor Lewan. Like Buda Baker made him look stupid. Like it was just it showed that this defense can be pretty good. Now it's a 1-game sample size.
I just saw the play where Simmons takes his leg out.
Yeah, like he literally just goes
one leg. Like he went straight for his left leg, said "fuck you, that's mine," and I'm gonna take it from you. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, like I'm trying. Like I know a lot of people are very excited based on what they did, but we got to make sure.
Stopped Henry at the goal line.
Yeah, yeah. There was one where he almost had a touchdown. Stood him up there, right? Like he's that strong. Like you said, like he has the speed of a linebacker, but has the strength of a safety. So
he has it's almost like Ed Reed and Ray Lewis had a baby.
Yes.
Which is wild. Like if you say it out loud.
Like if week 1 was a preview of what he does all season.
Defensive player of the year.
No, it's gonna be Chandler Jones. I think Chandler Jones is going to threaten the.
He'll be the one that people are actually talking about. It'll be like how Tyrese Halliburton was Rookie of the Year in the NBA, but wasn't because LaMelo exists.
Yeah. But no, I think Chandler Jones is going to threaten that Michael Strahan sack record.
Ooh, I'll hold you to that.
So I think.
Well, I'll leave you on this statistic. First time in Arizona history, multiple wide receivers had two receiving touchdowns.
This is a hot take. I think with Fitz gone, it allows his offense to do what it's supposed to do. Put an actual player in the slot, Christian Kirk. That's where he's supposed to play. He's not an outside receiver. He is a slot receiver. But with Fitz there, they played Fitz there because that's what Bruce Arians turned him into, was a slot receiver. But if Christian Kirk can play the position that he played in college in the same sort of offense, he's going to succeed. And we saw that in week 1 with the 2 touchdown catches. That first one where Kyler just throws it up in the air, and it looks like Kyler walked the ball to Christian Kirk and laid it in his hands. Like it was a phenomenal catch.
It was.
They play the Vikings next week. Patrick Peterson returns to Arizona. I don't know how the fans are going to react to that. He's been extremely petty since he left. Like he's been
he's a cornerback. Seems like that's their nature.
Like he said he's not surprised the whole thing with Malcolm Butler. Like he's just like when Tyrann Mathieu left. Like they both were petty towards the franchise because they thought they got disrespected. Tyrann Mathieu did it for like the 2 years after he left, when he went to the Texans and then he went to the Chiefs. So we'll see how long Patrick Peterson has that child pettiness attitude towards the franchise. But I think it's more towards Steve Keim than anyone.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's towards the actual franchise.
It's definitely the equivalent of like when it was that Bobby Wagner or the guy for the Seahawks that left, that flipped
Cam.
Yeah. Cam.
Cam
Thomas.
Oh,
Earl Thomas. Yep.
Earl Thomas. There we go. Yeah.
Hey, it's Matt.
Hey, Colin.
Cousin, Earl Thomas.
Colin, you got a forehead to you like Roscoe Jenkins' mama?
We just gonna talk about it?
What the hell did you do?
How?
I thought I had a bug bite on my head, and then we had this bug bite thing, and it is supposed to suck the poison out, but I didn't realize that your forehead is different than your arm. So if you do it to your arm, it doesn't do this, but if you do it to your head, it does that.
Was it a bug bite, or do you not know?
It was definitely a zit and not a bug bite. And I have a meeting tomorrow morning and 2 interviews to hold. I'm interviewing people on Thursday. So
forehead titty like Roscoe Jenkins' mama and himself.
I know what you're gonna say. So I will stop.
Teach you to attack you.
But yeah, it was definitely wild. We'll check back in with the Cardinals week to week with Buck.
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to not get too
offense.
like super hyped about it because it's only 1 week. It's one game. So we'll see if they can like offense. I don't doubt that they could score 25 plus a game. Like I think that's going to be a given. It's can they stop people?
Shug, my girl didn't attack me. This is where Justin Tucker's field goal was held on Monday night. On to the 49ers and Lions game where the 49ers hold off a surging Lions team in the fourth quarter. Wow, this Lions team and Jared Goff came out of nowhere.
If you took the Niners at -9, you've got to be pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. And the first rookie threw a TD.
Yeah, it was like a 5-yard out.
It was like a 5-yard pass, but it was proof that Shanahan's going to do this whole 2 QB thing. Final score 41-33. Lions couldn't hold it up.
They lost Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert is out for the season.
They still haven't. Like I heard a rumor that they made Trey Sermon inactive because he missed curfew. Again, I don't know if that's
missed curfew. He was inactive, and then today they signed Kerryon Johnson
to the practice squad.
Yeah, pretty much. It's hard to. I don't know what the fuck you were doing in Detroit. I've been there, but I mean, do you? On to Buffalo, where the Bills could not hang against Shug's Steelers, where Ben Roethlisberger took a little while to get going, but once he did, the Steelers were in full flow, 23-16. The one person on the Steelers I was disappointed in the performance of was Najee Harris. I expected a much bigger opening for him.
There were no openings. That's the thing.
I hear you. I went. Yeah, I hear you. It's hard. It's hard to run when there's nobody there to stop. Literally.
But again, it's 1 week, so they'll. I think they have talented coaches there. They'll figure it out because they know that they can't have Ben throwing 35, 40 times a game.
That's a lot. There's a lot of players this week to look back.
You spend a first-round pick on a running back of that talent.
52 times. It was absolutely ridiculous, but at least they come out with the win 23-16. Rough day for Josh Allen and the Bills offense. They look to turn that around next week. On to the Eagles and the Falcons, the Dirty Bird battle. And the Eagles come out 32-6. Jalen Hurts, 264 in the air, 62 on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Unbelievable stuff.
He looked pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
What the hell is going on in Atlanta? I got nothing.
Their offense didn't show up. So if you had Calvin Ridley or Kyle Pitts, you're probably not happy after that first week 1 performance. But again, the season's not decided after week 1. So we'll see if they can get it together there. I feel like that offense is still very talented. Matt Ryan is still a decent quarterback. He's not as good as he used to be, but they've got weapons there. So we'll just have to see maybe because the Eagles have a decent front 4. Like their front 4 is decent. So I feel like that's where the Falcons struggled is they were pressured all game. So that's where they struggled.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. They got to get that together without that offense. That team knows nothing, Jon Snow. On to the most entertaining game, in my opinion, of the weekend before Monday night. The Browns against the Chiefs, 33-29. An unbelievable performance by the Cleveland Browns. I'm not going to sit here and thrash the Browns because that would just be fucking stupid. But I did sit there with my drinking self and say, you can buff an ugly car and you can put a new coat of paint on it, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be a piece of shit car. And until you prove to me that piece of shit car can win a race worth winning, it's still a piece of shit car. Matt Thomas, your thoughts? Hold on, wait, hold on. Oh, the dog check colors are gone. Hold on, I'm going to put the orange up. There we go. The orange is there. Matt, take it. Give us the dog pound, dog check. Where are we at?
I mean, Baker played up until that last play, and they're not gone. They're there. It's sucks because you literally outplayed them for 3 quarters.
Like flat out too, both ends of the ball.
Fourth quarter, wheels came off. Chubb did the one thing you never see Nick Chubb do, and that's fumble. Myles Garrett didn't have a sack until it mattered. And then Baker, in trying to throw it away, gets tripped up by Sorensen, who clearly loves to fuck over the Browns because he's the one who nailed Rashard Higgins in the head earlier this year in January. So, yeah. People will say what they want to say about Baker, but 21 completions to 28. 21 completions out of 28 attempts.
That's a Baker game.
That's
not bad.
With a 97.5 QB rating.
No OBJ either.
Yeah, he was a late scratch.
97.5 rating and 68.3 QB rating.
Unbelievable.
No, but that botched punt, that botched snap on that punt.
That was everyone out in town is pissed at freaking. Everyone is pissed at Jamie Gillen. Kevin Stefanski even said, "You know better. He knows better. He should have just kicked it anyways." And he got scared.
Didn't they throw it 3 times on that drive before they had to punt too? Like, shouldn't they? So there's
a lot there, and I think the one thing is that the Browns know this was the toughest game they have to play for 7 weeks, arguably.
I think don't they play the Cardinals in a few weeks? So
that's
that'll be
fine. But then when I'm talking about the Chiefs, in opposed to like when you really get into your conference, your division schedule, which for us this year in the North really does not start until like Thanksgiving. Like there's like 2 months of like random
Ravens and Browns play back to back basically.
It's like we play twice in a month.
But there's something about this game I want to talk about that not a lot of people are, and that's the bullshit that happened with Ronnie Harrison.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say other than he was not the one that instigated it, and when the broadcast proceeds to say that the one who instigates is the one who gets punished, and he was not the one who instigated.
Well, here's the issue. The reason he got tossed is because they said he tried stepping on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If you go back and actually watch the replays, trying to go around and let Edwards-Helaire lifts up his leg and it gets pushed back, and the coach pushes Ronnie. So, like, no one should have been tossed. And at the end of the day, they're saying there's no extra punishment going to be dealt, which isn't fair at all because that coach pushed him first.
Yeah.
Sure, Ronnie should he have been more composed? Yes, I think that's part of the reason the Chiefs were as successful as they were in the second half because we didn't have Grant Delpit dressing that game, and MJ Stewart's not the best backup safety. So,
yeah, that's it's not the way you want to start the season as a Browns fan, but I know
we'll be back in January,
and I'll give you this stat, and it's not a fun one.
The North is still yours. I
think if anything, that game may have proved it.
Cleveland won 21-1 in season openers since 1999, and I think that's the most
they basically just lose week one.
That's the most positive of all 23 of those games.
We haven't won an opener in now 17 years.
So that would have been 2004, going all the way back. Absolutely wild. On to a game that people expected to be great because it was America's Game of the Week with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck Yourself. The Saints win 38-3 against the Green Bay Packers. I didn't call it because I was low-key betting on it, and I did not want to verbalize it and ruin it. Called it.
Famous Jameis.
I told people to watch out for Oz corrected Jameis Winston.
We said it. We said your LASIK bullshit. Get the hell out of here. You are people don't understand. This man can see now. This is unreal. This is like the kid.
Also, Sean Payton
and kicking
is a great offensive coach, so that helps.
Yes.
Also, Definitely.
What did he throw for? Like, he threw for 148.
It was
He only threw
objectively
for 100.
the worst, best game of his entire life. 4 touchdowns,
5
touchdowns.
5 touchdowns, 148 yards, 14 for 20, 420 out there. Alvin Kamara with 83 yards on the ground and 8 yards through the air with 1 touchdown. This Saints team is fucking legit. And people do not want to hear this, but the fact that their defense is now taking like 3-week injury losses for the next 3 weeks, Saints are going to win that division.
Oh, that's a bold take. I think everyone thinks it's a lot of people think the Bucs could go.
I think that's going to be one of the more controversial takes, but I think the Saints are going to come out and win that division.
We'll see.
We're getting there. Did I skip the Pats?
Yeah, you did.
No, because I don't like either of those teams. I didn't mean to skip them. No, wait.
No, it's because
I did not skip them. It was a 4:00 game. Oh. I did not skip them. I'm going down the NFL.com line. They were 2 games away. I was getting there. To them. Joseph, we will talk about your Dolphins soon. On to the Broncos and the Giants. Broncos traveling east, winning 27-13. Broncos, the inverse of the Browns here with this stat, 68%, not 0.68, a 68% winning percentage in season openers since 19.
Teddy looked pretty good.
That is the highest in the NFL. That team, if Teddy can figure it out, their defense is loaded. The offense is loaded with unbelievable talent on the edge. And that Broncos team, I would not want to travel to Mile High and have to play that.
They did lose Judy for about 6 weeks to do a high ankle sprain, though.
Judy, definitely the best case scenario. Looked much worse, and glad it was just a high ankle thing and not, something much, much worse. On to the Dolphins and the Patriots. Dolphins taking the game 17-16. Patriots gave them all that they could. Dolphins come out 1-0. Jalen Waddle's second player in Miami history was 60 receiving yards and a touchdown.
Tua looked fine. I thought Tua looked fine. Again, didn't look that improved, but again, it's week 1.
Let's be honest, he got outplayed by Mac.
Yeah, he did. I feel like Mac Jones played a lot better.
Mac may have only thrown one. They both threw 1 touchdown, but 29 completions on 39 attempts, 16 completions, 27 attempts. 1 threw for 281, 1 threw for 202. Just saying.
Yeah, it was very.
Joe had a bold take that he said that Tua was going to make the leap that Josh Allen did. So we'll have to see.
Well,
I don't know about that.
We'll see about that.
There's a difference between Josh Allen and Tua. Josh Allen is Big Ben 2.0, and I'm talking about passing. And Tua is small.
Yeah, Tua just hasn't seen the same since he got hurt in college.
Yeah, the hip was definitely a big thing, but we'll see what happens there. It's one of the more entertaining divisions in the league for sure. A lot of people pick the Patriots as big underdogs to come out and win the AFC East. On to the Sunday night football. I've been waiting all day for a Sunday night. God bless Carrie Underwood, because I sure was waiting. Rams win 34-14.
Matt Stafford looks like he's taking them to the promised land.
Matt Stafford is a god. Did you guys see the play action rollout for the first touchdown? One of the most perfect play action rollout post routes I have ever seen.
He is such a perfect fit for that offense. Everyone is shocked, but was Matt Stafford always this good? Yes. The Lions just didn't have a line.
Yep.
And that franchises ran terribly. So he was just no one knew about him there.
20 completions, 26 attempts, 321 yards, 12.3 yards average, 3 touchdowns, 1 sack, 89.9 QBR, and a 156.1 rating.
Yeah. Every team in the NFC West looked, I think, phenomenal.
And
like all
is
four
why
teams,
I'm not in the NFC.
All four of them dominated. Niners almost blew it. I think everyone else dominated. I feel like the only team that played a decent team though was the Cardinals and the Titans. Like everyone had the Titans pretty high. Yeah. Well, I saw that he was at the game. That's all.
Yeah, he said because Barbarian's from Michigan, he said he is now a Rams fan and support of Stafford.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the Rams.
Yeah, there was that one touchdown where I think it was not Jefferson. There was one touchdown where literally it was a blown coverage, and Stafford literally could have just handed
Throwing it away.
Yeah, it was. Yes, Stafford looked pretty good. So we'll see, because I believe they did expand the playoffs this year. So it is possible to see all
it last
four.
year. They're continuing.
You could see all four teams in the NFC West.
That is not actually possible. The max you'll see from any division is 3.
Okay, so even if they all have the best record, you can only do 3 from a division.
Mm-hmm. Because you get one from each division. And then there's some other shit that goes along with it.
So basically,
it's because mathematically, because of how often you have to play in division, you're not gonna get all 4 of them having a playoff record.
All right, so you don't think you could have all 4 of them be like 10-7?
No,
that's mathematically impossible.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done the math on that, but I feel like you're going to have to be at least 10-7 to make the playoffs there in the NFC. I don't think 9-8 will get it done. I think 10-7 is what it's going to take if you want to make that wild card. So we'll have to see.
We will have to see, but things we don't have to see anymore is Monday Night Football because the Raiders beat the Ravens 33-27 in an unbelievable overtime game. I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I fell asleep at the end of the third quarter, woke up in the middle of overtime, and didn't know what the fuck was going on.
The last 45 minutes was ridiculous.
But at the end of the third quarter, I was falling asleep. I couldn't help it. I had to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday to go shoot a golf tournament. And I had consumed enough alcohol in the time that I had gotten home to the end of the third quarter that Colin was like, this game's going one way. And then the game went a totally other way. And the Raiders
overtime was ridiculous. You have that
27. The interception on the Ravens after the offensive penalty on the false start on the Raiders was just
it goes through one guy's hands and bounces off the helmet.
And then flies so high in the air, it would have hit the Dallas Cowboys Jumbotron. And then comes down and ends up in the hands. Unbelievable stuff. Yeah, Jeremy, you say you're watching the Peyton Eli stuff. I couldn't watch it. It was a quarter of the screen. I can't watch a game on a quarter of the screen. I just couldn't do it. I started it for a little while, and I just couldn't hang with it. I'll give it a shot at some week for a game that I don't really give a shit about.
I mean, Monday Night Football tends to have a lot of it. Monday Night Football.
Next week is Packers and Lions. Maybe you can do it for that one.
Because then it's the battle of bad teams.
I don't know what the Packers are. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers literally came back so he could tank, so he could hurt the Packers. I don't know. Is he that petty? Does he hate the franchise that much now?
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's he thought he could be GM and have him make these moves, and they'd be great.
You thought Randall Cobb was going to be the move,
right?
But
no, you want to know? I gotta say, and Colin, I know this sounds petty, but this is something that should be a fair statement. Nobody's ripping on Lamar like they did Baker the past couple of days.
I don't know about that. I mean, everyone was ripping on Lamar this morning, but mainly it was because Lamar was hard on himself. I don't really ever hear like the stuff that I hear from Baker. I think is different. Like Lamar Baker doesn't play any blame game, but Lamar constantly blames himself, and that is a constant story in the media. That like the media constantly pushes Lamar, but Lamar never blames the media. He only blames himself. And I think that's something different. Like Baker has definitely had his moments in the media where he just pushes back.
Well, that was in season 2. Ever since Stefanski has been in town, you haven't had that.
You know what I'm saying? It's the aura. It's the clout around him.
Tyson Williams looked pretty good.
He's legit. Go Gamecocks.
Yeah, like he looked really good. It's shocking he only got 9 carries. And one of them was 35 yards for that first touchdown. So
it was a nice touchdown too.
It was. I mean, it was right up the gut. Clear sailing.
Yeah, I don't really have any final thoughts because my attention is fully to Sunday night against the Chiefs.
That's going to be a game to watch.
That's going to be one of the most entertaining games.
0-2.
Chiefs Browns was entertaining.
0-2.
0-2.
Okay.
The only reason I say that
that's
is
all I want. No. I'm going to channel your boy. I'm going to channel your boy LeBron. Bring it on.
No, the only reason I say this is because Chris Jones is a beast and he lines up on the right side of the line, and your right tackle looked vulnerable as fuck all day. So
do you all see the meme with Patrick Mahomes? It's like Tyreek's got to be out there somewhere.
Yeah, Tyreek's down there somewhere.
Well, folks, that brings us to the portion of the show where we are going to discuss, oh my goodness, the Watt Fantasy League and break down.
Hold on.
Whoa.
Yeah,
look at the graphics.
Yeah, I was like, Matt has a graphic.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Well,
Our standing, folks, the East, the number 1 pick, New Jersey Movies by Nick Mulbach himself, in number 1 with
scored over 200 points.
4 points, an unbelievable spread led by Pat Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, Cooper Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Cooks, all scoring above 20 points for the co-creator himself. The buck stops here in second. Just the two of us in third, Team Burke, and Baker and Mayfield's barbecue in 5th place.
Beckham and Mayfield. Yeah,
Matt, what do you have to say for yourself?
Well, it doesn't help when everybody outside of Nick Chubb and my 2 receivers underperform. My receivers and Nick Chubb are the only people who shut up, and Tucker, I guess. But yeah, it was not what I was expecting. You don't expect Justin Herbert to get up 13 points. Like DK scoring 16 is fine. McLaurin scoring 10 is slightly underperforming. Gallup got injured, so he was on pace for a good game. He had 7.6 points, and then he's out for the rest of it. T. Higgins had 15.8. Tucker had 11.
I think the at least positive part about this, and this is just something that comes with fantasy football experience, is that at least you can look at your bench and say you couldn't have done better.
I can say that in one position.
That's my glass half full that I'm trying to offer.
Yeah, I know. Tight end's the only one I can really say I could have done better, and technically quarterback by a point. So I'm not too upset. They'll bounce back.
And then over to the West, where we have that's your brother, right, in first place.
My buddy Sean.
That's your buddy Sean.
Brother in everything but blood. My co-host for Dog Check, which will be back for select games this year.
You two could be brothers.
Nah.
I just mean in the sense that you two act around each other is very brotherly.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Well, he ends up with 161.8 points. Me, your co-commissioner, the conqueror himself, comes out 1-0, scoring 140 points. Chris Anthony Lopez coming out with the ugliest win of the week.
He squeaked it out
by 3.98 points.
6,
like
9-4,
wild
9-4,
shit.
9-4.
Some wild shit. Like, and he was deemed the worst manager of the week with the awards given out by the Sleeper app because his bench would have actually let him win more. So if he would have just made some better decisions, uh, Chris Anthony Lopez would have fared a little bit better. On to week 2. Let's take a look at some of the matchups that we have. And the tightest ones that I'm looking at right now, I have 2 that stick out to me. One, Chris Anthony Lopez facing off against Sean. Right now, 166.64 for Sean, projected to 165.59 for Chris Anthony Lopez. That is a matchup. Up to how about this guy? What's his name?
That's my buddy Ryan. That's Ryan.
That's Ryan. Ryan and myself. I am favored 158.86 to 154.21. It is going to be a humdinger. You have Tom Brady going against Dak Prescott. David Montgomery going against CEH. James Robinson against Zeke. Robert Woods against, I almost said Anderson Cooper.
We'll see if Zeke shows up this week because he was literally an offensive lineman last week.
But Ryan made a valid point.
You do not want to have the week you want to show up on offense be against the Chargers.
Ryan, because I got to hang out with Ryan and watch the game with him at his place this past week. He's got a projector, so we were downstairs in the basement watching. But he made a valid point. With Tampa Bay's front seven, you don't want to just run the ball.
No.
Unless
you can try, but you ain't going anywhere.
He's like, unless you have 2 top tier backs, you don't run the ball. Because at least when you have 2 top tier backs, you can wear them down. You only have Zeke and then Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is good, but he's not a top tier back.
Yeah, sorry, Joe. That's the definition of fantasy, baby. You would have played anybody else, you would have won, but you played number 1 and you lost, and that's the name of the game. And let's just hope that luck turns around at some point. But let's turn over to our biggest fantasy pickups of the week, the people that are trending in fantasy football, according to Sleeper.com. Elijah Mitchell making big jumps up the fantasy football boards as Raheem Mostert is out for the season, and Trey Sermon was a healthy scratch, leaving only Elijah Mitchell to come out as the 12th ranked running back in all of fantasy football in week 1. Mark Ingram had a big performance for the Houston Texans, leading people to think that there is some workload left there in the Texans backfield for him. Tim Patrick seeing some moves up the boards for the next 6 weeks as Jerry Jeudy is out with that aforementioned injury. Christian Kirk moving up the boards as well. We all know what talent he has. KJ Osborne for the Minnesota Vikings has been making some moves after he had a great rookie showing. Biggest tight end move of the week. Jawan Johnson of the New England Saints had a big week.
It's 1 week. It's 1 week.
I know it's 1 week, but that's why we're here. What else are we supposed to talk about, Buck? That's our jobs as pontificators.
I'm just saying, like, there's no chance he could do it a second week in a row. Like,
look, I was about to suck your Cardinals dick so hard, and then now I'm not going to do it. I was going to say, and the best defense you should be picking up in fantasy is the Arizona Cardinals defense.
No, I wouldn't pick them up.
Why not? Sacks or points?
Because I don't know if it's sustainable. Like, it's 1 week.
You don't think the sacks are sustainable after you just told me Chandler Jones is going to win Defensive Player of the Year? Stick to the subject, Buck.
No, I'm just saying there are other parts of that defense that aren't very good. The only reason the secondary didn't get torched is they got a good pass rush this past week, so they didn't have to do as much. Byron Murphy dropped like 2 picks. He had one that bounced off the receiver's hands that he could have moonwalked into the end zone.
And my advice to everybody that's picking up Elijah Mitchell, give Jermichael Hasty a look. Just saying.
Not only that, you don't know what Trey Sermon's going to do now that he's not being punished for missing.
Look,
Mitchell fits their offense
is like
better.
a drunk college kid at a bar. He loves a bourbon and ginger. Okay? Does he care if it's Barrel Creek, Jack, Jameson? No. He doesn't care. Shanahan's going to put whatever running back out there. He's going to find that hole that his offensive line creates. Let's not act like Raheem Mostert's loss is his athleticism after he makes it through space. It is not anything he does before he crosses the line of scrimmage. It's what he does after. That is what you have to prove in this offense. And that is the type of player that Shanahan has put in this position to be successful, is due to make plays after the line of scrimmage. And that's all you're going to get. Any one of these dudes can be wide receiver 14 or running back 14 in a given week. Any one of them. Let's talk about, we didn't even talk about Debo. 189, 2 touchdowns. Unbelievable.
Brandon Ayuk, I think, is still missing, by the way. He got 0 targets.
He was
0 targets.
Healthy scratch. Didn't play.
You're livid right now.
0 targets, didn't play.
He played. He just didn't get any targets.
Wish somebody would have told me that before I started him in another league. But, folks, that is going to do it for the Watt Fantasy Breakdown. We will be back next week to see if Matt can get a win. He did beat me in our other league. I will give him all the credit in the world. He whooped my ass by 4 points.
That was a great,
that was bad. That was bad.
Literally.
I'll give Matt all the credit in the world.
The only fucking player who didn't perform there was my goddamn quarterback. It could have been much worse.
It could have been much, much, much worse. And there was nothing I could do to stop it. But the only thing I can do to stop this is hit the end broadcast button. And that will do it for another episode of Real Sports. Unfortunately, no Hard Knocks this week. You cannot hang out with us afterwards in the Discord. We hope that some news on Thursday, maybe regarding Hard Knocks, will give us some brighter news. And maybe they're going to do this season long. That would be great. We would love to hang out with you guys. But that will do it for Buck, for Matt, for me, Colin. This has been another episode of Real Sports. Find us all over the place. We are everywhere, every day of the week, doing everything under the sun, from wrestling to geek news to movie news to Schmodown news. This is the entertainment network for you. We are Who Are They Real Entertainment, and we will see you next week. Bye. Go Gamecocks 2-0. Georgia's going to kick our ass.
At least you didn't lose to Oregon.